Coming out of your first exposure to physics, a lot of times you might think that the normal force is just another way of talking about gravity, but it's up instead of down. And that's because most of our questions we talked about looked something like this, where you had an object that was on a horizontal surface. And in these cases, it is true that the normal force does equal out or balance out the force of gravity, m times g. But there are many situations where that's not the case, and we'll see more of them in our class. For instance, in this situation over here, we have someone pushing down on the block, so there's an applied force, maybe P. And then there's also, of course, the weight, mg. And so the normal force is going to have to be big, something that's big enough to balance out both of those forces. The normal force will equal our applied force P plus mg. Or maybe we have a situation like this one down here where the object is underneath a surface. Now that seems kind of strange, but it is possible that maybe someone is pushing an object up against the surface. Well, the weight of the object always pulls straight down, and in this case, since the surface is above the object, the normal force would also point down. And so we would have to exert enough force P to sort of balance those two things. This situation here, where we have an object that's perfectly vertical on a vertical surface instead, our normal force would point to the right. Here's a really odd situation because weight is down. The normal force has absolutely no connection whatsoever to the weight. So that's something we'll have to get used to. And then lastly, let me mention a situation where a block is on an incline. And this is something we'll spend an entire little section on. But here, of course, your weight is down, but your normal force points like this. It's perpendicular to the surface. And so we're going to have to treat that with a little bit of extra care because not only are they not opposite to each other, they're not even along the same line.